For now, let us get into the show. Our first guest joining us on the Truck Center Company's hotline is Kearney girls coach Jason Boyd. Coach, thanks a lot for taking some time with us on a Wednesday.
Well, thanks a lot for having me.
Obviously, it's a big week for you guys, an emotional week that is. Can you, hopefully the emotion and everything that happened in that district final game with Millard South has sunk in. Can you put into words what that game was like for the girls?
Oh yeah, that night was a lot of fun. Really tiring for me as a coach. I mean, I think come district time, it's so much fun. You know, I watched our guys play the other night, and just the intensity level, the stress of the situation. You know, you lose, you might be going home. Well, we knew if we lost, we were definitely going home, being the 13 overall seed. So definitely more stressful, but more fun. You know, more fun as a fan to watch and that kind of stuff. And so yeah, we played really well. We talked about how we kind of had nothing to lose. No one really expected it from us. To be honest, no one really expected a lot from us this year. I was talking to one of the publications, I think on the little blurb for Kearney for the year was, it looks like it's going to be a rebuilding year for Kearney. And so, you know, some of those things, you know, I don't think a lot of people expect a lot from us. So we kind of went into the season kind of not knowing what to expect, missing some of the kids we had, but ended up, you know, playing well down the stretch and had a great game against Millard South. Real intense, real fun game, real great atmosphere. They had a good crowd there. It was really a lot of fun.
You mentioned Millard South's crowd and your crowd for home games this year. The Rowdies, as I've seen them on the social media, have definitely brought another level of excitement to the game. What is it like playing for that student section for you guys?
Oh, it's a lot of fun. Kids love it. You know, we've always, you know, it's hard going from, because we have a new gym this year, and going from our old school to the new one, didn't know what the atmosphere would be like, you know. We had such a home court advantage in that old school. And I think we played 2 years ago. We played a district championship game there, which was a huge crowd, a lot of fun, great atmosphere. You know, it's nice to have that home court advantage, especially once you're in districts. But this new school has been awesome. I mean, we did a good job. I mean, we had a lot of people who designed it, did a good job designing it. Gym's not too big, but it's big enough to be able to host like some district events and that kind of thing, and some sub-district stuff from some of the smaller classes. And so they had to design it, you know, to be able to feed a certain amount, but also at the same time didn't want to lose that atmosphere we get in games. And so, you know, the roof on it isn't too high up, and so and just the way they kind of kept it pretty enclosed, we really get a really good atmosphere in this new gym. I thought we did a good job designing it, not making it too big.
Let's go back to your team for a little bit now, and I want you to introduce us to the girls this year that are making up the Bearcat roster. Like you said, some thought it might have been a little rebuilding year, but obviously some girls have stepped up.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people underestimated what we had. I mean, a lot of people didn't know what you have. I mean, every year, you know, your teams change a lot, and so we had Kelsey Clark's our point guard that started last year, and also came off the bench and was in our rotation as a sophomore. So she has a lot of game experience, and that's a huge advantage. You know, when you have your point guard, your floor leader that has that experience. And she's been playing really well, shoots the ball well, and she's kind of leader on the court for us. And then Mariah Ross as well. Mariah's leading us in scoring. I think Kelsey averages 8. I think Mariah averages over 12. And Mariah is someone else that started a year ago for a team that was you know, we had a solid year last year, lost in the district championship to Millard West by 8, the team that ended up being runner-up and kind of rolling through the state tournament until that championship game. So we felt like we had a couple key cogs back from last year's team, and then that could help us continue some of the success we've had over the last several years. And then you add into that mix Alexis Mishues. I think she's scoring, gosh, I'm not 100% sure, I think a little over 9 a game. So in that, you know, we have those 3 scores where we got 3 kids scoring 8 or more a game. And so we, you know, it's a little bit of, you know, all of them can kind of score, so it's hard to just go and lock in on one person, you know, kind of like last year we had Skylar Snyder who averaged about 20 a game, so a lot of people focused on them. Now we've got a few different kids that are scoring, and so Alexis does a lot. Alexis, we post up a little bit, kind of a longer guard. She's someone that we play at the post, or at the play at the point guard as well. She's our backup point guard too, and so she's done a great job for us this year. And then the other starters that fill out our starting rotation, Avery Wood and Lauren Schuling, both softball players. And we got a lot of kids that are multi-sport athletes, which at the size of school we have, we've always said that's what we need, that's what we want. We got to have, Class A, but a small Class A. We need our best kids, our best athletes playing multiple sports for us to have success in all of our athletics. And so those kids are softball kids, and they had a lot of success Lauren Strubing and Avery Wood, and it kind of carries over. I think sometimes, success kind of breeds success for other programs as well. And our girls sports, track, just, one state a year ago. And so our girls sports are kind of, starting to do a good job and kind of take over a little bit. So those five, Strubing and Avery are more, those two are more role players for us, do a great job in their role, hustle like crazy, compete. I mean, I think that's the key. They're really competitive kids that know how to win. And so I think, playing those other sports helps with that. And then off the bench, actually, we've had lately stepping up a lot. Claire Vanderbeek had 8 in our district championship. She's a sophomore, but she had 16 against Norfolk to beat Norfolk in our first round of districts. And so she's really stepped up her game. She can score. She's kind of a center for us. And then Ellie Dahlgren's kind of been coming off the bench, doing a good job for us as well. I think she had a game. I think against Norfolk she might have had 8 or so points, and then earlier in the week, she had a 12-point game. I think a 4-point game. I think she's been scoring, giving us a little bit of scoring off the bench. And then Addie Wood is our other one off the bench that we've kind of been going with an 8-man rotation lately. And so Addie, sisters with Avery. Addie's just a freshman, but real good athlete. Gives us a lot of athleticism, defensively, length, really good on defense. So she's been helping us as well.
As you progressed through the season, was there a moment or a game or a practice when things kind of clicked for these girls, or maybe you guys as coaches had the feeling that we might be onto something with this group?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's like every year. You don't know 100%. You're not 100% sure what to expect. Very first game of the year, we're playing Millard West, who's preseason number 2, and we did a steal layup with under a minute to go up 1 on a team that's, preseason number 2, and when we think it's going to be a down year for us. And so right away, we're thinking maybe we're a little better than what we even think as coaches. I mean, sometimes you can underestimate your own kids. I mean, I think we have some athletes. And that's why our scores, you see our scores, we've had some low-scoring games. And at times that's been the biggest issue where things haven't been clicking offensively for us. But defensively, we've been there almost every night. And we've been getting a little better offensively. We kind of made a change in our offense maybe a few weeks ago. I think that's kind of where we started to get going a little bit, where we got a little more aggressive offensively. And I think that's made a difference as well. Our transition, we're pushing it a little bit better on the offensive end. And so being able to score, it's hard when you're scoring 30-some points a game. In some games when you're scoring, in the mid-30s, it's hard to pull out victories against, you're playing even average level teams or below, and you're going to be in close games at times. And that's what happened to us a little bit throughout the year. But our style of play has enabled us to play good teams close as well. And what a lot of people don't know is, you look at our scores, Omaha West Side, they didn't make state, but they were the 3rd overall seed. We're down 1 to them with about 4 or 5 minutes to go, about midway through the 4th quarter. Lincoln Southwest, we're up 3 on them with about 2 minutes to go, and then lose. Millard North, we're down 1 about midway through the 4th quarter. Trying to think of other games. I mean, there's Papio South. We're tied with them about midway through the 4th quarter. I mean, you got a lot of solid teams we've been playing close with, but then we just couldn't get over the hump, it seemed like, in a lot of those games. And a lot of those games we have dug ourselves holes and gotten behind, and so that was part of it. We got behind a little bit, made runs, and didn't quite be able to get over the top and get over the hump. And so, I think some of those games gave our kids confidence, though, that we can play with anybody. And then obviously, our first round opponent is Lincoln Northeast, a team we beat at home. A lot of things went just right for us in that game. I know how, games can be a lot different one game to the next, and then you're trying to figure out what Lincoln Northeast is going to do differently tomorrow against us as well. But, I think those things gave us confidence, especially going into district, playing, we didn't want to be in Millard South District. I thought going in Millard South was the team to beat the state. I still think that. I think them and Northeast have proved that they're probably the best 2 teams in the state. But those 2 teams are tough, and we've proven that, we beat the number 1 and 2 ranked teams in the state right now. And so I think our kids understand they can hang with anybody. And we also are humble enough to know we can lose to anybody too, because we've had some downers this year. And so, our kids are hopefully going to be ready to play, and offensively come out and are aggressive, but defensively we need to get some stops as well.
Coach, I know you've got some state tournament experience yourself, actually, from your playing days. Have you shared any stories with the girls yet of maybe trying to set the stage a little bit?
I hardly even remember those days. It's been a while ago. No, I have not. I don't even know if they know I've ever played a state. Yeah, I don't even know if they know. No, my senior year we were state semifinals. So, I've shared more experiences of coaching experiences. I think in 2000, my first year here was 6-7, 2006, 2007, and the next year we made it to the state semifinals. And it's tough. It's tough to get to state. The way they've changed in Class A, the serpentine system. I mean, if we used to have the old Western District, it used to be a lot easier. And so I think there's a lot of pressure. I feel pressure. Maybe I put on myself, but, I think your program a lot of times is kind of judged on, you get to state or not. And I think, last year we didn't quite make it. 4 years ago, in 2013, we lost a heartbreaker to Millard West. We're up 12 with 240 something left and lost. Just came down and hit basically 2 straight possessions. They hit 2 threes, and all of a sudden it's 6. And then down the stretch they made plays and we didn't, and lost the game. And so, that was a heartbreaker that you learn from. I mean, I always learn from it in games all the time with difficult games, different things that happen in that game. I'm thinking about during some of our close games. In fact, our Millard South game the other night when we had a lead late, we were thinking about some of those things and not letting those things happen again that cost us a victory that night. So we draw from those games, from past experiences, and some of these girls have experienced state. We were just there 2 years ago. So we got a couple kids who played a little bit in that game, and so, hopefully I just tell them usually, let it slow it down a little bit, enjoy it. We're going to get there early. We play the 3:45 game, so we're going to get there a ways before the 2 o'clock game. We're going to watch that. We're going to relax. We're going to try to enjoy the whole experience a little bit. And then, hopefully the kids are ready to roll come 3:45.
Well, we will be watching with close eyes on that one. Coach, thanks so much for the time, and we certainly wish you and the Bearcats the best of luck in Lincoln.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for your coverage.
Stay with us, folks. We'll be back with more Prep Huddle Live coming up on StrivSports.com.